Well, what do you know? We're live, and Nerdy, I think, is our only viewer. so, so this is a personal stream for the rodent, for the nerdy rodent. Does the nerdy rodent have a little tiny laptop? Are you here, Scott? Are you having problems, Scott? Holy shit.
Hello. I lost my connection. Yeah, it's
Yeah, you didn't disappear this time. No, you're muted now. What the fuck is going on? Oh, this ain't
okay.
gonna work well.
I am back, and I
You
do
got back.
apologize for any pain
Oh, Dave's here. So Nerdy and Dave, we have two viewers. We're just so excited. Uh, anyway, we have been going through a book. A book.
well, mostly you've been going through the book because I get too many distractions.
Did you read my book? Did you read my book?
All right, Jensen, shut up.
Yeah. Okay. It is called The Substance of Consciousness, a comprehensive defense of contemporary substance dualism. But that is not really what he means. He means a contemporary defense of Christianity. Because these guys, highly religious people, believe in God, and if you look at Eric Hernandez, Eric Hernandez gets all of his material from these guys. Now, these two guys are the very best that Christianity has, and they are really intelligent, very well educated people who are articulate, capable of writing, and they have produced the very best argument for substance dualism. I'm thinking that you're going to find in Christians, the very best argument for the soul.
And if you ever see me write SD in the chat when referring to any kind of point of view or whatever, I mean substance dualism or substance dualist. So just keep that in mind if you're at all listening to me. That way, it caused a lot of confusion the other day when you were talking to Lance. When I was this one guy, I said, well, SD believes in this. And they went, what the hell's SD? And I had to tell them.
Yep. And here's, so the best I've found, so like I've been trying to get my mind around their argument, and they keep saying that, well, that doesn't seem right, or it seems like it's this way. And that seems to be like at the end of all the metaphysics that they drag you through, what they conclude is that it just seems like there's a soul. And so the whole
it just feels like we have a soul, like you're given to. I mean, are you so boring that you're not going to believe in a soul? Sheesh.
Yeah, and okay. So here's the argument. The argument for simple, substantial, enduring soul may be put this way. And we haven't gotten to chapters. I got a little bit in the 8, but 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know. So we got a long way to go. But anyway. So item number 1. You want to call it a premise? Yeah, we call it a premise, I guess. If something is a physical object composed of separable parts, a mereological aggregate, it does not endure over time as the same object if it comes to have different parts. So if I get the tires changed on my car, it is not the same car.
So are we talking about the weather here? What's meteorological?
Mereological means the metaphysics of parts and wholes. So they have a 6-bit word for basically talking about parts and wholes, and that's kind of most of the book is involved in mereology. So a mereological aggregate would be your car, which has tires, an engine, some seats, hopefully leather seats if you're cool, and a V8 if you have an engine. If you have an engine, it's not a V8. It's not a fucking engine. Go fuck yourself. Anyway, V8 or a V16 or a V12, and anything above 8 I'll accept as a car. It's a go-kart otherwise. Anyway.
Okay, and do you want to disagree with the premise in any particular ways, or are
Yeah.
you just stating it now?
Well, I guess we'll go through it and you can see where they're going. So, my human person's body and brain are physical objects composed of separable parts.
Now, here's something for the side chat. I want them to be working on while you go through this. Can you think of a good reason to separate body and brain? Why do we need to separate body and brain? But go ahead and continue with the reading of the argument. But I just would like our side chat people to help us about, do you agree that body and brain should be referred to separately, or just body, or how would you handle that? Continue.
Me? Okay. Number 2, yeah, my human's person's body and brain are physical objects composed of separable parts. Okay, I already did that one. I'm repeating myself. First sign of basically dementia. Okay, so number 1, we're going to read the argument. I'm fucking with
Sorry.
it. Okay, number 3. Therefore, my body and brain do not endure over time as the same object if they come to have different separable parts. Number 4. I, a human person, do endure over time as the same object. Why? Because it seems that way. 5. Therefore, I am not my body or brain. 6. I am either a simple enduring soul or a body or a brain. 7. Therefore, I am a simple enduring soul. That's their whole, that's that. Can you believe that they put that at the end of that intense chapter on mereology and
Yeah.
metaphysics? That this is the best.
Yeah. It seems like 7 is I do not follow, really.
Yeah, well, definitely. Yeah. Well, no, okay. Therefore, I am not my body or brain. That doesn't follow. So, body or brain? What the fuck are they talking about? So, okay, on the Buddhist view, I am my body, my brain, and quite a bit of the world around me. My environment, right? And I change through time from birth to death, and then at the moment of death, I'm going to change very radically and very quickly. Worms come in, worms go out, whatever. You rapidly change basically in the first 9 months of your life, and then you very rapidly change as soon as your heart quits beating and you die. And I don't understand why they care about that. So I can't possibly be that. They think because molecules are replaced or parts of our body are replaced that we can't endure. So we can't possibly be identical. Now they talk about Leibniz's indiscernibility of the identicals, or whatever the hell that thing that Eric Hernandez keeps obsessing over, which is me. Basically, if something has all the same properties and it's identical to itself, roughly. So I don't know. Okay, God is a triune substance. Yeah, how does that work?
Yeah.
I just don't get some of this shit.
Well, I think they believe God is triune in terms of personalities, but is all the same substance. It's all one substance. Don't ask me how.
Yeah, because they can't, like, okay, the planet Earth can't remain the planet Earth unless it has a soul, because it's, it's got replaceable parts, got meteorites hitting it, shit disappearing into space. So that's
That's just
that's
it, isn't that sense of continuing identity? It's perhaps an evolutionary necessity, but it's more or less an illusion. Because I would say I'm definitely not the same person.
no,
Um, you know, they they took things out of me. They put a little stent in my heart, so I actually have a new heart
yep.
because of one stent. Um, so okay, I'm not the same person, but I have this database that stores away um, feelings and observations and associations of feelings. Like we all experience red differently, not only because of our frame of reference or our encounters with red objects, but also how was I feeling at the time I encountered red. That is all stored away in a database, and as long as that database stays more or less intact, I'm going to have a sense of identity. And even my sense of identity um, changes based on what's accessible now. What if I've had a mini stroke and parts of my memories that dealt with how I feel about certain associations disappears? Well, I don't know that it disappeared, but my experience of the world changes. But I don't think I've changed my identity because I don't know that stuff isn't there.
Or what if a blast stuck a pipe through your head and you became more of an asshole than you already are?
Yeah, yeah. Um,
See what I did there?
the feeling that we're one continuous identity is a feeling, and to make it a solid conclusion to me is just on poor ground. You can't really assign a good probability that that's a correct position. It
Yeah.
doesn't need to be that position, and it really seems like it to me. It isn't, and the fact that things seem a certain way to me and not to you makes this a weak argument because it just doesn't seem that this reflects reality.
Yeah, I've been operating for uh, at an increasing rate for the last 10 or 15 years to basically make it seem that my mind is something very different from other people. I try to consider my body, my whole body, right? I try to bring my whole body into my sense of self, and now I'm trying to bring my entire past into my sense of self. And I also try to bring my environment into my sense of self. So as I'm a self walking around, I'm probably bigger than any of you guys because I'm about 50 feet tall. I mean, if I can, see 50 feet, that's how big I am. So, but I've been rewiring my brain to have a different seeming of how I seem, what I seem to be, how I identify with myself. And then Buddhism, of course, what you do is you try to get rid of one piece of, one little thing that you're clinging to after another, like your memories, your personality, your habits, your beliefs, your body. And at the end, you just say, self is an illusion. So, David Chalmers, that's what this is all about. And they do mention Chalmers quite a bit. But
So
yeah,
would
this
I
is,
need to read David Chalmers to if I decided I'm going to become well trained and well adept in philosophy, would David Chalmers be must needed or must read reading?
Daniel Dennett should be first.
Okay.
Chalmers, you are never going to be able to get through all of Chalmers because he does what these guys do. He delves way deep into the subject and then he pops out and he says, "Oh, hard problem."
What about Sparks notes for Chalmers?
Yeah, I never thought of that. I am the synaptic fire which rages and radiates from the force of my brain, a force seated by the ever-changing winds of experience and fueled by the ever-changing world of my body. God damn, that's good, James.
Wow. Did you? Okay. First of all, James, did you write that? Is that original with you?
Son of
If
a bitch.
so, congratulations. If not, and you're quoting somebody, man, you are well read.
Yeah, what the fuck? That's pretty good. I'm gonna copy that one down in my notebook. Oh, where's my notebook? Okay.
Oh, good. Nerdy was able to cross one. I need to order the same bingo cards that Nerdy has.
Bingo? 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 Oh, crosses
Yeah,
another one.
that mentions Chalmers,
Oh
and
yeah.
that mentions what was the other one?
Dan
Oh,
Dennett.
Qualia. If you talk about Qualia, that's on your bingo card.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about qualia. We're going to. Okay, so like they get into the arguments a little more, and I'm not sure if we should go there. Let's see. Well, we can take a look. Premise one is a claim that mereological aggregates are subject to mereological essentialist constraints and are inconstant objects through a change in separable parts, sans eliminativism.
Is this begging the question of essentialism?
I think so. I don't. Yeah, kind of.
Because I just don't believe in essentialism. I don't think that you can say um, essentialism isn't that like a Platonic kind of argument that you would have to have these Platonic ideals or essences, and they exist independent of actual reality or of physical reality or whatever.
Well,
Am
let's
I
see what
babbling?
ChatGPT thinks.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, we want to introduce the newest member of our team, Chat GPT.
Yeah.
We ought to try to create an AI character called Chat GPT that is like a zany morning DJ.
Okay. Mereological essentialism is that they have an underlying essence, right? Like an essence, and
Yeah,
this is what they're calling the soul. And basically, mereological aggregates can't have that, according to these people. So,
can't
so
have
there's
essences.
yeah, an ME can't have an MA can't have an essence, can't be an ME.
Oh, and therefore there must be a
Soul.
soul undergirding and grounding that MA, that mereological aggregate, in order for it to maintain its continuity.
Right, but there's another way to look at mereological essentialism. We could say that there are certain essential things about me that make me Mike Bruzenek, that make me Speed of Sound. There are like my memories, my personality, my voice, we could say, but then that might change. I'd still be me. My memories are certainly the most important part of me, and my body, which gets very slowly biologically replaced from birth to death. Uh, I'm still going to be me after I die. I'm just not going to be as much fun as I am now.
Or
Uh,
you may be more fun, and that
well,
is the truth you don't want
yeah,
to think about.
if you're into that sort of thing, yeah, it would be more fun. But
Or they could just weekend at Bernie you.
yeah, yeah. Well, my kids might do that. We were talking about it. We can
Okay,
see it.
I shut things up. My humor, my humor causes silences that are uncomfortable.
Okay, I wasn't silent. Are you losing me here and there?
Okay, I'm losing connection.
Yeah, you're
If you can
losing
hear
me.
me at all, I lost connection. Damn it,
Some
son.
bitch, Scott. Living out in the outback in Texas with the goddamn rattlesnakes and the cottonmouths and whatever the fuck other kind of monsters they have out there. Oh, Republicans. Fucking worse than rattlesnakes. He's coming back. Okay, I don't think an indeterministic mind gets rid of Chalmers' fading qualia in terms. Okay, what is Chalmers' fading qualia? I'm not familiar with that one particularly. Chalmers. Indeterministic mind preserves an observation of persistent, unique quality of it. That doesn't entail the same personhood. Yeah, that's kind of what they're saying, Nitty. Maybe I'll send you a link. Philosophy of the mind. Okay, challenges the notion and can gradually, yeah, they can gradually fade. Consciously gradually fade without impacting a person's functional behavior. Oh, you mean about replacing neurons? Is that old saw? Yeah, yeah, the silicon chip bullshit. That is really complete bullshit when you think about it. It's meant to give you like the intuition that humans couldn't, like the human mind couldn't possibly be a machine. But if you could somehow, one at a time, replace a neuron exactly with silicon, you would still, and you could have it still hooked up to your body, then you would be a creature with a machine mind, but you would be the same creature if they did it right, if they did everything. So, can you come in, Nitty? Oh boy, we really lost Scott. Anyway, let's see. Okay. So let's go back to this. Expresses a canonical scientific way of construing bodies and brains, especially given standard mereological hierarchy and part priority. Usually microphysical part priority ubiquitously associated with it. Moreover, given that a body and brain are mereological aggregates and therefore objects, debates about the doctrine of arbitrary unattached parts are not relevant to them and our employment. So I don't know what they just argued here exactly. Okay. One, if you, okay. Way to go, nerdy. No video feed. Yeah, yeah. Cut. What the fuck? Wow. Scott's really having trouble. Let's see here. Where can we go here? Perdurance. An object X perdures over temporal interval T, just in case, one, there's a series of temporal. So what I mean, these guys, like, this is obviously the best that Christians are going to come up with. There is a series of temporal parts such that all of the series constitute T. Okay, object X perdures over temporal interval T, just in case. X has distinct part stages, time slices that exist wholly at each temporal moment constituting T. The part stages all stand to each other in some relevant relation R, and X is identical to the relevant history, namely to the total of all part stages standing in R to each other. Objects are space-time worms and exist at different times by having distinct parts at those times. So, perdurance. Looks like I'm on my own here. Okay, hang on a second. I believe I have your email. Well, shit, I'll just put the link out in chat out here. And hopefully we won't get distracted. We got it. Okay. So yeah, an object perdures. Let's see. Well, you're better than Scott. Let's see if I can get you in here. Hey, hey.
You.
Yep.
Not you, babe. It's
Yeah, so perdurance is the idea that they would obviously disagree with, right? As far as human identity. They're saying that the natural body and mind, the body and brain, would perdure, and that's why it can't possibly be identical. That we have to have a soul, because they think that we couldn't be a person otherwise. So, what do you think of that? Series.
You're gonna have to repeat that. My daughter was talking.
Oh, okay. So, perdurance would be like, if you like if you get the cars changed on your tire, or tires changed on your car. The interesting way to put it. It's still going to be your car, right? So you can change all
Sure.
of your car, and it's still going to be your car. So that would be
Thesean paradox, basically.
right. Yeah, yeah. Ship of Theseus. So anyway, they're saying that the body is like that, but they're saying that the person can't possibly be that through this entire book. That
Sure.
is and they use the word seeming a lot, and they defend it. They
That
defend it.
pesky intuition.
Yeah, pesky intuition, right? And they use seeming all over the place. Standard mereological hierarchy or layered view of the natural world. They they get into some really strange. Okay, Yeguan Kim notes any deviation from the mereological hierarchy and the strict physicalism it entails comes at a cost. Strict physicalism cannot be had on the cheap. I don't know what the hell Kim was saying there, but anyway, there's another part here. I think it's at 184, page 184, where they really go kind of crazy on the soul shit, and I thought it was pretty cool. Let's see here. What page am I on? 173. I'm getting close.
Oh, hey, are they doing the neuron thing there? Did I just see that?
Oh, was that page 170 something or? Oh,
Maybe.
Plantingian.
Yeah.
Yeah, Plantingian replacement
Yeah.
argument. Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah, they cover all that shit. Yeah.
Okay.
And they don't reference Chalmers as much as I thought they would or should for their view. But let's
Well,
see. One.
The reason that I think the replacement argument is actually a defeater to Christian theism is that many of them believe that the human form is unique in design and conception, and our ability to express within the goo that
Right.
we are, those two things are intimately tied together with the uniqueness and speciality of man as
Right.
God's creation. So replacing, not just like, they'll grant like, oh yeah, you change your hand parts, your foot parts with prosthetics, whatever, right? I
Yep.
think a lot of believers would be extremely uncomfortable and distraught at the notion that the brain could be replaced in that way. They might even protest themselves that would not be me.
Yeah.
Because that's such an integral part to our daily function. And, so that's where I think they lose. That's where I think Fading Qualia is a good defeater if it's actually possible. And even if, like, the mind, right, is indeterministic, for the Christian who adheres to a strong design principle there, like differing inputs and outputs from physical, just what's the word I'm looking for? Artificial materials. I still think it would be just as strong as before. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter to me personally, my seemings is that the replication of the neuron isn't a guarantee of its output, because no one knows the state of a the slit experiment of our quantum state in our heads, right? So you can't necessarily predict with 100% certainty what your output would be, even given your own inputs.
Oh,
You'd have to be
I think you
function.
could. I think you could, because the probabilities that happen at the level of the synapse are
Mhm.
so um,
Well, okay, yeah, those are measurable.
it's the wrong scale. Okay, it's the wrong scale. Like there are probabilities that happen in the calcium channel at the synapse that
Yeah,
basically allows the neuron to stick some neurotransmitter out into the gap. And there are some quantum effects, but those quantum effects are at the wrong scale to predict what the neuron's going to do. You could predict a neuron with technology that was about 1,000 times as good as what we have, maybe 10,000.
right.
Okay.
Okay, then my seemings might be wrong.
No, no. You're you're still onto something. Like, for instance, what if we replaced our arms and legs with chimpanzee arms and legs? And we could do that.
I
And
love this.
chimpanzee dick, and then chimpanzee chin, and chimpanzee skull, and we kept the same brain, right? But then eventually we just started swapping out the brain with chimpanzee brain. Would the soul
Mhm.
stick around? Would it adhere to our person? Or would the soul say, fuck this, I'm out of here? I, you know,
Yeah.
that's why I named this Chasing the Soul Across the Transporter. I'm talking about Star Trek, right? Because according to these
Right.
guys and all of the stuff that they laid out in this book, they would claim that the soul can't possibly follow you through that transporter, because
Right.
you're dissolving. So the person on the other side of the Star Trek transporter would be soulless. He'd be a fucking demon or something. I don't know what the hell he'd be. But that's this replacement thing. Yeah, you're on to something. I mean, that's good. It would seem to them that if you replace each part with a machine, right, that
Mhm.
the soul would no longer adhere to that. But then you would have to ask them why not. It's adhering to
Right.
me. It's
Mhm.
adhering to me based on. In fact, they go to great lengths here to explain why the soul adheres to the body. And they even claim that the DNA is the key because the DNA is God's information, and
Yep.
somehow DNA is it's the conduit through which God communicates with the human body to make it the human it is. And it's fucking remarkable because they're shooting themselves in the foot here, because if that DNA starts to mutate, then God's information is no longer the same information. Well, what's up with that? you know,
Right. And, muting the most integral parts of our inner workings and replacing them with uh, synthetic artificial things that do not require uh, DNA information exchange, then what?
yeah,
Like, sorry, God's design, we're doing it better.
yeah, yeah,
Or oh man, and yeah, like there's like a it's like it's a evolutionary Thesean paradox, or not paradox, but like thought experiment, right? Like how many morphological changes uh, do you describe human, or ascribe human to, or Homo sapien? Like, does Peter Dinklage count? Like,
yeah, yeah. Neanderthals,
what what
Neanderthals.
if we all were Peter Dinklage one day, and then our arms just got longer and that's it, so we could
Yeah,
reach stuff again? Like,
I
would we
guess
still be Homo sapien? I don't know. But
back
I love Peter Dinklage. I'm not trying to make
I
fun of
love
that. I'm
Peter
just
Dinklage.
saying.
Back in the 70s, they did some study where they indicated that our fingernails are getting longer. The part of our fingers that are fingernails are getting larger, right? As we like just that they've been able to measure in the last few hundred years. Yeah, we're gonna have claws like our kitties, and
I'm
then
gonna get my nails did.
we get my nails did. According
Is
to
that because we push buttons more, or what?
Okay, wait a minute, Nitty. Before you go there, you want to make goddamn sure that you read this book here, okay? Why did God make me a boy? Okay, you gotta. It's by Answers in Genesis, and it'll explain to you why you don't want to do your nails. Okay,
Great.
and
Super.
then if you do your nails, well, then this book may be more. Depends on which way you roll.
Hey, I still want those monkey arms.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, let's
Uh,
see. I got to get rid of my face. I don't like my face.
yeah, so that's the main contribution I wanted to make, though, was that, yeah, whatever, wherever you fall on the fading qualia thought experiment,
Yeah,
I think it's still the damning blow. No matter what level of Thesean molecule bullshit you try and throw at it, because that's such a fundamental part to how we experience and perceive the world, replacing that with pure mechanics, the
yep,
Christian is fucked.
yeah, yeah. And we are going to be able to do that within a few
I
hundred
know
years.
they don't like that.
Nope, they don't like that. You know,
What was it? There was something else with that too, and now my brain just poofed. Oh, when I was starting to deconvert from Christianity, a similar thing popped into my head while I was just driving around one day. I'm like, it's rather strange that I can take a pill and it can fundamentally change my perceptions of self,
yeah,
my ability to control a particular behavior or not. Um, that seems odd. Like, why can't I out spiritual, LSD? Why can't I out spiritual cocaine? Why can't I out spiritual Adderall? Like,
yep,
if substance dualism is true, and there's like a Gundam pilot in my suit, and it can be wholly energized with super god juice, like, why can't that beat the things that you know are physically limiting that give me cognition to enjoy and perceive the world? It just did not. It started to make no sense to me.
yeah. I think they're getting at it here with DNA. Are okay. Inseparable parts. Okay, and processes are tools, instrumental causes employed by the higher order biological activities to sustain the various functions grounded in the soul, is what they say here on the screen. Thus, the soul is the first efficient cause of the body's development, as well as the final cause of its functions and structure, which, along with the body's inseparable parts, are internally related to the soul's essence. So they would say that the reason that you get drunk or extremely high on mushrooms is because you've modified the instrument that's going to your physicality, right? But then if you die, the soul just takes off. It just says, "Fuck it, I'm out of here." Leave it.
Yeah.
But why doesn't the soul do that when you take 1,300 micrograms of LSD? I don't know. It should.
Or,
Maybe
well,
that's why people think they saw God.
right. Well, I'm trying to figure out that statement there. The soul is the first efficient cause of the body's development, as well as the final cause of its functions and structure. Does that mean my soul decides how big my penis is?
I guess so. Yeah, it's in charge of all that. Well, and it communicates that through the DNA because we know the thing that kills me about Christians when they talk about evolution can't happen. Do you remember that Smoky Saint thing where I first got the handle speed of pudding? Basically, I was talking to this Anthony. I forget what his name is. He's this crazy creation.
Oh, I
Creation.
know.
Yeah. What the hell's his name? Anthony, what the fuck? Tony something or another. Anyway, I was having a fight with him, and I said, okay, I'll grant you that God, evolved you, right? Okay. But now we're down to the point where you were a zygote, and it was completely naturalistic causes and things that we can actually empirically test that may turn you from a single cell into a fully functioning human. That is a fucking miracle. That's more of a miracle than evolution when you think about it, right?
Hmm.
Just being able to go from a single cell to a fully functioning nitty. I mean, you ever think about how fucking crazy and miraculous that is?
Yeah, it's
Like,
pretty
well,
wild.
maybe it was a mistake, but depending on who you are. But I mean, they're claiming that somehow DNA is going to be their source here, and I think they get into it a little further. I think they go on and on about DNA. Let's see. They have some really interesting ways of thinking about this. The body is developed and grows teleologically by means of law-like developmental events rooted in the internal essence of the soul. How about that fucking line?
Again, like, this doesn't have to be entailed from Christian theism at all.
No.
Like, you can't really, like, it by means rooted in the eternal sense of the soul. No, that, like, the nature of a sinful flesh too. Like, would your soul choose sinful flesh?
Right. Yeah. Doesn't make sense given their theism. Okay, Thomistic-like organicism entails the organism as a whole, the soul, is ontologically prior to its inseparable parts. The parts of the organism's body stand in eternal relations to the soul's essence. They are literally functional, teleological, understood entities. The heart functions literally to pump the blood. I don't know. Anyway, it's just like, wow. The body's operational functions are rooted in the soul's internal structure, substantial form. The internal structure or Okay, so they don't think a biological organism could even manage to pump blood. From what they're saying there, you need the soul to give you the teleological force to make the heart functional.
What are
Like,
they, like, first century people that believe in the suke or whatever?
I
That
don't
there's
know.
like a wind in here that's blowing all this like a balloon, like, I got you going.
Yeah, they seem to be promoting a hands-on god or deity, right?
Well, no, hands-on Gundam pilot. If you know what Gundams are.
No.
Voltron pilot, Power
Oh,
Ranger,
yeah.
Zord pilot. You just pick your thing that drives a robot. I mean,
Okay.
the heart functions literally to pump blood. Who says?
Okay, I bet you could have guessed that this guy looks like that.
Oh no, I've seen him a ton. He came to my former church.
What?
Hmm.
No shit. Oh, he
Yeah, he
talked
gave.
in church.
Yeah,
Okay.
he does, like, he gets millions from doing speaking engagements.
What does Biola University sound like? Bullshit university to me. I mean,
It's it's where you get degrees and makey uppies.
okay. I mean, that's some real Biola. I mean, I would use that expression. That's some real Biola. He specialized in metaphysics, philosophy of the mind, and Christian philosophy. So he's, you know, I think he's the best they got as far. I mean, these guys are smart, right? Their
He's
book
just
is,
misdirected.
yeah, very misdirected because they wanted to arrive at their conclusion. I mean, they went into this thing believing this bullshit. What else they say? The first efficient cause of characteristics of the human body is the soul. Various body parts, including DNA and genes, are important instrumental causes the soul uses to produce the traits that arise. Yeah, this is 8 chapters in, did it, Nitty?
That my soul had low ambitions for my sexual performance.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Where was my soul when I needed it? That one, that really pretty girl when I just had drank way too much and fuck. Come on, soul.
I feel bad for the two pump chump souls.
The what?
The two pump chump souls.
What the fuck?
It's like, huh, huh.
Yeah. Teenager. Right. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Number 6. The body is a mode of the soul. The soul could not exist without the body. or the soul could exist without the body, but not conversely. A body without a soul is a corpse. So they're saying that if you went across a transporter, you would be a corpse, even though you'd still be functional. So
Yeah.
very interesting. When becoming
Wait. Hold on.
Okay.
The soul could exist. Why? Why could it? Why? Like, where does it say souls exist without bodies?
Yeah. I don't know.
Because there's like competing theories on Christian theism of what actually happens to you when you
Really?
die. Yeah. So the Jewish concept of Sheol had functioning beings under the earth where they could they had sensory experiences, could talk, whatever. And maybe not all like Jews after a certain point believe that to like a major extent. Like maybe they don't believe that anymore today. But in under Christian theism, you could adopt a like a like the concept of heaven that's like popular, right? You die and you're in like this esoteric, amazing, euphoric land in the presence of Jesus, holding a lamb, and it's bright and it's warm and it's cozy. All your desires are getting met, but it's somehow ethereal. Okay,
Yeah.
but that's in relation to man and God being in presence with one another in some kind of redeemed woo form. But not all Christians agree because of something like that says in like First Corinthians and First Thessalonians, where Paul says, "Some of you have gone to sleep," right? And he's talking about some form of death rest, where their body has stopped and their being has stopped. But in Christology and salvation history, their next incarnation with a body looks more like Revelation, where people are raised to life with new bodies on a new heavens, a new earth, a very material place. So you don't get shit until maybe you take part in some Jesus, do the stuff, make us alive again. Like there's that,
Yeah.
but that's it. It's not like it. Christians disagree on what the character and nature is of your disembodied self.
Right.
I mean, what it does when you're dead.
Yeah. When you have a concept that doesn't exist, that's so far out there and so uncolored in, you're going to have a lot of disagreement, right? Because you can basically make up any shit you want, right? We're just
I
going to
wonder
make
what they would say about that at Biola, right? Because this would invalidate the book.
Yeah, that's some real Biola there. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. Two final reflections. Yeah, this is about as far as I got in this chapter. First, on this view, the role of DNA and genes can be likened to the materials needed to construct a house. These things are needed for such a construction, specified building materials, a complete floor plan or blueprint, and a specified order in which things are assembled. Okay, none of that shit actually exists in the cell. that isn't the way it works. It's not a specified order. It's completely interactive and it's very chaotic, and it's amazing that it fucking works at all, but it does. And
Doesn't cancer act as a defeater to that too?
yeah, there you go, because it has the same DNA with just one or two a half dozen
So
mutations.
much for specified.
Yeah, and it specifies your death. But
Oh, or metatroma or whatever it is. Do you know what that is?
no.
Hold on. I'm going to discuss to everyone. Hang on. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me find it. Let me find it. Oh,
Hello, everyone.
tetratrauma.
I'm like or General MacArthur. I have returned.
Hey, yeah, living out in the outback in
Teratoma.
Texas.
There it is.
Texas rattlesnakes,
Yeah.
man.
We're having to pipe in sunshine and internet.
If you link it to me in private chat, I can display it here quickly.
Yeah,
And
hang on. I'm trying to. I'm fine, but everyone's about to be not fine in a minute.
You're going to show us a
Nitty
cancer?
Nitty has lent a new perspective to this endeavor, so I really appreciate
Well,
it.
I heard him talking about the soul as presented in the New Testament, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Because basically it's not a Christian view. But then again, I guess you can believe in a soul without being an Orthodox Christian. Well, you're not Orthodox view, I guess.
Oh,
But,
shit. Damn you, Google.
But yeah, there can
Hang on.
be disparate ideas about the soul.
Whoops.
What the fuck? Come on, you damn ass. Here you go. This Instagram picture. It's called a teratoma, and it's a it usually happens in or around ovaries, and it's a growth that can grow hair,
Holy
skin,
it looks like a fish.
eyes, and teeth, and bone.
God, really? A teratoma?
So much for specified orders. Like it can, your DNA could just say, "Fuck it, I'm gonna make human parts over here."
Well, would that thing have its own soul? Maybe, like could you baptize that little motherfucker and dress him up in a little little dress, pajamas, take him to church, baptize him?
Yeah. There's some really gross ones too.
Oh my god!
Is this a baby? What is this?
No, it's a
It's a
tumor,
hairy
right?
mole?
Is that
hairy
like a
tumor.
teratoma?
Yeah. They can grow eyes, teeth, hair. They're pretty gnarly. Here's another good one.
That is a big
I mean, good
blob
one.
of gnarl right there. Yeah, that's a
There, I put it in
I can
private
see
chat.
an ear, eye. I don't know. Is that a cheek? Oh my gosh!
Son of a bitch!
What is?
It's
What
got-
are these?
Well, I'm jealous.
They're called teratomas.
It's got more hair than I do.
They can spontaneously grow inside your body.
Son of a bitch. Okay,
Oh my
Wikipedia.
gosh! Teeth on a cancer.
Teeth on cancer, man. I always thought cancer had teeth.
Okay, I'm going
Yeah.
to.
These are things that were extracted from human bodies.
Tumor made up of several different types of tissues, such as hair, muscle, teeth, bones. Holy shit! How in the hell does a tumor like that? Oh, it's got to develop from stem cells, because they have the basically they have the pluripotent ability to change into any body part, right? And then they follow a developmental pathway. That is the coolest. I did not know about this, and that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. This
Yeah, we
gives
could
me.
do a show on what the medical profession won't tell you.
Oh my god! It can develop.
I like to say,
Your fucking testicles. Oh my god!
No,
can you imagine that growing in there?
Wait a minute. Okay, hang on. Does it have lips and a tongue? I'm just thinking here. I'm just working outside the box.
What? Wait, Mike. Would that be driven by the soul?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that would, especially if you got a decent blowjob out of the deal. Right? Oh my god.
Hold on, I need to grow some teeth in your ovaries.
What the fuck is that? Oh my god.
Yeah, Nitty, you are stirring
like-
things up. That's for sure.
It can be
Hold
found
on.
in babies, for God's sake, and children. No, not the children. No.
Do you know what lithopedions are?
What's that?
A lithopedion?
Oh no, I don't. Let me look that fucker up. Will I find a way?
It's when a baby develops outside of the uterus and it calcifies.
Oh shit.
Well, I think I've heard of that, and some
Yeah.
women will just carry it around for the rest of their lives.
Holy shit! There's one right there. Lithopedian. Oh my god.
Calcifies. Everyone is now cursed with the knowledge that these things exist.
Yep. Shit. Well, Christ, Bree ought to cover that on Hive Science. Ought to cover these things, because these fuckers are real.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like some real Sasquatch level shit here.
Hey, I'm going to try to connect.
Yeah, it's medically documented.
I'm going to try to connect from my phone. Let me try this. Maybe I'll have better results that way.
Yeah, I've been trying to get you to connect for a long time, Scott.
Yeah, I was in a good spot with something I was working on for work, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take a break, and this
Yeah.
has been much better.
Yeah. Well, this is fun. We're I was on Lance Independence channel talking about conscious.
I saw you, yeah.
Okay. What'd you think of all that?
Well, I didn't get to stick around for the whole thing,
Yeah.
but I thought it was going well. I don't have any real specific critique.
Yep. Well, I was talking about my idea about how we can start explaining consciousness to ourselves, and it kind of involves this. Let's see here. Yeah. Basically, what neuroscientists need to do is for one thing, we have to get finer resolution on the brain. We have to get down to like one basically millimeter, millisecond resolution on our scans. Okay. And then if we get down
Mm,
to a millimeter, we're going to be really close to being able to see what each neuron does in the brain. And then what you do is you run people. The top line here is basically subjective experience. So you run person through a scenario, right? You put them in a dark room and you turn the light on and there's an apple sitting on a table on a bench, or but you can't see the bench, you can only see the apple. And then you basically watch what happens to them, right? And then you run them through
mhm.
that room tomorrow again and again and again, and you keep watching what happens to the brain. And just basically, so what we're going to do is down here we have the physical brain, and we have all the different brain regions that are going to light up, right? And we're going to be seeing all the different connections there, and it's going to follow like when you first see the apple, there's going to be like a spike of visual, right? And then it's going to go down, and then there's going to be like associations, like you're going to think of the word apple, and then you're going to maybe go off on red or some hunger or whatever, and we're going to map all that basically. And if you keep doing this with a person, with one person, you are going to start mapping out their brain about what happens in their brain when they have the subjective experience of seeing an apple. And what you're going to find is that there's a whole ton of shit going on down here, and that whole ton of shit that, can't be put into words is what we call qualia.
Right.
The reason that we have these qualitative experiences is not because it's because we have so many different parts of our brain all happening at the same time, crossing over, interrelating. And the other thing is the important part about this is that our subjective experience is a brush of time that's 200 milliseconds long, like 200 milliseconds to a second. Okay, if I quit drawing it, basically, and it moves forward in time, and that's our subjective experience. And that subjective experience is wired to a ton of stuff that's going on, which we call the unconscious, but I don't believe in the unconscious. Okay, there's no such thing as an unconscious processing mind. It doesn't make any sense at all, which is a fairly, what would you call that? Heretical comment. I mean, everybody,
Yeah.
we have this unconscious shit going on, right? No, it isn't unconscious. You're feeling that in your qualia as much as anything else. It's just that you can't put a concept or a word to it, so you think of it as unconscious. Now, we have this like amazing. There's an amazing system that happens where you look at something, and then you start narrowing in your attention on it, right? And then you come up with a word for it, and then you come up with like all these concepts in this subjective space, right? And we do that very quickly, and by the time you try to introspect that, okay, like if you try to introspect what you're feeling during this 200 millisecond period, you're already out here about 1 or 2 seconds. So you cannot experience what basically you can't ever figure out what you're conscious of is my thesis basically. And anyway,
Right.
I want to elaborate on a lot of that. Now this stuff down here is the environment and the world, which also is very much connected. So your mind is basically a 200 millisecond swath of the world, your body, the entire, the entire environment basically, and it moves forward in time so quickly. And all you're doing when you're thinking I am conscious is you're coming up with words and concepts, and you're able to recognize these things as something familiar to you, and that gives us the feel that something is going on. But there's no reason why neurons, molecules in motion cannot. I mean, it's amazing. The amazing thing about us being conscious is that fucking matter can do that. It,
Yeah.
matter is basically it's a substance mattering. Matter matters in a brain-like way. That's what's going on. That's what we are, and that's a fucking miracle. I agree. But it's a miracle of naturalism. It's not a miracle of anything else. And
Right.
that's kind of what I am obsessed with. Basically, is this shit.
Yeah, and I think you acknowledge that there is a delay between our ability to even, what's the word, register. Well, there's a delay between having the experience and
And knowing,
there's a delay between having it,
and knowing.
registering it,
Right.
and expressing it.
Right. Yeah.
So there's 2 delay relays
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah. By the time like you have the experience, you start to formulate, and you're looking at traces out here. You're trying to find traces of that experience in your memory, and then out here you all put some words, right? Where you tell the researcher what you've experienced, and all that happens within about a second. Very, very quickly. And it's fascinating. It's also fascinating to try to think about thinking. Like when you're thinking about something, stop for a moment and try to think, what the fuck were you doing exactly? Like a lot of people think in narratives, but some people like myself, we think in terms of like geometries and concepts along with the narrative. And when I think about it, I mean, I can recall very little of what I was actually how I actually arrived at a concept or a thought, and it's all spooky as fuck. But the more you look internally, the more you doubt this fucking David Chalmers kind of bullshit. Yeah.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
So I watch a channel called Slow Mo Guys, okay?
Plum.
Yeah, and what they do is they film different, things that'll look cool in ultra slow motion.
Oh yeah, those guys.
Yeah. So again, when I was like starting to doubt like Christianity, I stumbled on that channel. What really bothered me was that, wait a minute, we're perceiving the world at a depth of clarity and movement that is otherwise impossible for us.
Yeah.
And that level of detail between the outputs of like the matter and energy, what's missing? God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? We're witnessing things that are faster. Sorry, we're witnessing things. We've slowed things down to the point where we're beating molecular interactions.
Right.
And when you do that and you don't see any like, there's no other force there than the stuff.
Yeah. The stuff.
Like if there was something to preordain things and it can't operate at that level, it has to be that fucking magical to move at 2 million frames per second or whatever. That's a God who really doesn't want to be here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, so, and seeing people go that slow.
Yeah.
And I wish we could cross-section the head, right? An MRI at that speed.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's what we need is we need to get our resolution up in order to figure a lot of things out about the brain. We've got the connectome at a remarkable level right now. They have 400 trillion, or let's say they have, was it 450 terabytes of data on neural connections right now?
Wow.
Basically, that's how much we have. Pretty cool. Organicism. These guys, I don't know if they're, well, I guess they're worth it because See, what I'm looking for in this book is I'm looking for a good argument against
Yeah.
for substance dualism, and I'll be fucked if I can find it. I'm just having a hell of a time because they keep saying
Well,
things like, "Well, it seems like we're one thing throughout time, therefore we can't be physical." What? What do you mean it seems?
right. Well, the more they do it too, the more they're contradicting like basics. Well, not basics, but like different types of Christian doctrines.
Yeah.
Like, and so they're like, oh, I believe in Jesus and I love Jesus, but I'm going to go on this philosophical book rant
Right.
where I pick and choose what science I like
Yeah.
that will completely defeat core concepts that are necessary for my salvation.
Yeah.
So, and then basically commit what morphological heresies, right? Oh, the soul affects how the body develops. Well, first of all, then it should be able to stop you from sinning,
Yep.
because if it can if the ghost and machine can control all outputs, let alone like its form, like even worse is control the form, like then Jesus wouldn't need to heal anybody,
Well,
right?
I guess they've got to accept that that each individual soul with its free will is sinning, right?
But where and how then?
Well, through the DNA pipeline, I think. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, like Adam's sin nature went down to the ACT and G's.
Like, I've never been a Christian, but when I was, a child and I heard about Christianity and all throughout my life, I'm pretty sure that what they mean by sin is getting an erection.
Well, I wonder how Otangelo would feel about that, right? Oh, God's amazing design. It can't be imperfected by sin.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then talk to Eric Hernandez.
Did you listen to S.J. Thomas? S.J. Thompson, is that her name? Thomason? Talk about
Yeah,
demons.
not recently.
Oh, she was
Why?
talking about. She was going on about demons yesterday because she was doing a modern day debate thing. And wow, these people with their fucking demons too. That's another thing. Like, okay, apparently demons can attach to you as well as the soul. It's like,
Then what substance are you then?
yeah,
Trinitarian substance Trinitarianism?
right.
Because now there's another ghost in there that's fucking around with the stuff. Like, why? If the soul determines what the body's doing, what is it? Just like, hey, come on in, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and then, hey, you know what would be wild if you controlled the arms and legs for a while?
yeah.
I control my right hand, right? It's like so dumb.
And then split brain people, right? What is the soul doing
yeah.
there? Like this one woman was she was how the hell was it? She was taking the eggs out with one hand and smashing them on the floor with another, and she was trying to make eggs, right? And she kept grabbing the eggs from the other hand and throwing them on the floor. And then another one was buttoning his shirt, and the other hand was buttoning the shirt at the same time. And then of course there's and I haven't verified this, but there's apparently they tested both halves of the brain. One was an atheist, and one was a Christian. It's
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is happening with what part is the soul hooking up to? I mean,
Right.
I wonder if they talk about split brain in this book.
Or twinning.
Twinning?
Because twinning, because twins occur from the zygote after conception. It can happen up to 14 days afterwards.
Oh yeah, my sons basically are twins.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so Christians believe life begins at conception. So God is just like, oh, that one needs two.
Yep. Yeah, we got to pop another soul
Goes
down
the soul,
there,
right?
right? Yeah.
You get a soul and you get a soul,
Yeah.
but in one vagina.
Well, sometimes it seems like one of my
One
twins
uterus.
does not have a soul. So
Oh, God. The other one took most
Well,
of it.
one is the chief technical officer, the other one is the CEO, and the CEO will refer to himself as the asshole of the embryo. So he got the asshole side, and the other one got the rest of the.
Oh goodness.
Their personalities very much bounced off each other while they were developing. It's really interesting. The second born, Dylan, was extremely premature, and he was 3 months behind developmentally. So he would follow Dustin, and he's still following him today. But
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty interesting. The way their personalities bounced off each other, yet I look at them today like we were at a cabin this weekend, and one of them walked into this little three-season porch with a fireplace, and it was kind of dark. I did not know which one it was until he started talking.
Wow.
I kept looking at him like, okay, Dustin or Dylan, Dustin or I can't fucking tell. They really do look alike.
Oh, here's the split brain. Did you do a search for it?
Yeah, one might appeal to empirical studies, split brain experiments, to deny the P consciousness is unified. In brain bisection surgeries, the corpus callosum, the myelinated, blah, 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 they cut it, okay? Under certain contrived experimental circumstances, split brain patients seem to have two centers of consciousness. Seeming, right? They seem. Most of their book is based on seeming. Be cut off even at odds with each other. From this, some infer that P consciousness is not necessarily unified at all. This objection faces several problems. First, at least 3 recent meta-analyses and empirical studies undermine the divided centers of consciousness interpretation of split brain cases. Okay, so they found some studies that, kind of, because, well, I have to read the studies. Anyway, okay, these studies show that unified consciousness may arise and persist without pronounced communication between brain hemispheres. I'd like to see what their work is on that. In these cases, phenomenal consciousness remains experienced as holistically unified. I don't know. Third, nearly everyone working on the unity of consciousness finds it difficult. Well, you see, the thing is, the reason why they would come up with that is because consciousness doesn't really exist the way they think it does. So that half of the brain that's not hooked up to your verbal and verbal system pretty much is almost like unconscious stuff. I mean,
Right.
it because consciousness doesn't really exist. It's an illusion that we develop in that little area out there where we try to introspect. That's where we start.
Well,
where we have consciousness.
Well, don't they know that we don't actually have to open our mouths and make the sounds to say words?
What's that?
Like I just said this. So I didn't open my mouth and say my words, but all the speaking centers lit up in my brain.
Oh yeah.
While my mouth was shut, and I said the same starting words in my head.
Yep.
And so like, yeah. Or also, what was I gonna say with that? Consciousness itself, doesn't that have like a slippery definition too? A little bit.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they spend, like Chalmers and all these. They spend like 5 minutes talking about what the hell consciousness is, and then they go on and blather for 500 pages, which drives me crazy.
Right.
Because phenomenology is what I've done all of my life. Like I had this doctor, and he was trying to talk me into some pill, and I was trying to talk him out of it. And he said, "I love giving you a prescription because you're the only patient that comes in and tells me subjectively what you feel after you've taken the pill, right?" So he was like experimenting on me, the motherfucker. Like, hey, I want to give you this new SSRI, and it's like just to see what it's like.
This one's the slow release. How do you feel?
Right. Okay, so last. Oh shit! I didn't want to do that whole page. What are they saying here? Oh, phenomenal consciousness remains experienced as holistically unified. How do you know that? Third, nearly everybody working on the unity of consciousness finds it difficult, if not impossible, to eliminate or reduce phenomenal unity. In other words, it doesn't seem like we can. even though doing so would best serve their commitment to physicalism. So even though I'm committed to physicalism, I can't reduce the unity of my consciousness. Right, just
Who says that people who study this are
committed to
committed to
physicalism,
physicalism?
right? Well, a lot of
Couldn't there be Christians being like,
there
well, that's weird.
Christian neuroscience scientists are probably 80 or 90%. Yeah,
I talked to one who was going to school for that, and I'm like, okay, have fun with
yeah,
that.
yeah. They're never going to accept that the brain. That's why they're not going to go into consciousness research, because they already know that consciousness is the soul. So we don't have to think about it. We're
Oh,
just going to learn the parts. Like how, what neuron moves that finger. That's what they're going to concentrate on. It's a real problem in neuroscience that it is so religiously run right now.
held back, yeah.
Yeah, held back, because the main thing we're holding back is how we educate our children. With what we know about the brain, we would have an entirely different school system than we have if we really
All right.
wanted to teach kids stuff.
Yeah, we're incredibly inefficient, and you can just observe that, like
Call it.
anecdotally.
Yeah, yeah,
You don't even need all this shit.
yep. Last, this objection arises by adopting the total phenomenal unity thesis. Necessarily, all of S's phenomenal states at T are phenomenally unified. Who says? Mine aren't. I mean, I do a lot of mushrooms. I can tell you that definitely not unified at all. Fucking, I don't know. Well, the total phenomenal unity thesis might be true. Our unity argument does not require it. All we argue is that if a subject has phenomenally unified consciousness, then that subject is mereologically simple. Yeah, the soul. So, I mean,
But then,
where's your argument?
but then, why would a soul choose to have disparity between actions and thoughts?
Yeah. Or why would a soul become a drug addict when most drug addicts want more than anything in the world to quit, right? There was
Bizarre.
basically an individual at a meeting, a young girl who was crying because she couldn't quit. Like, why in the fuck? How would that happen? I don't know.
Well, I guess they would say that both substances are sinful then. That there's something broken in the soul
The
itself.
soul itself, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, and
there are treatment centers that basically put that bullshit out there. That the reason you're an addict is because of your sin. It's called Teen Challenge.
right, but I guess I have a problem with that too, because where does the soul come from?
God?
Exactly. So is he giving you a broken
Yeah, broken soul.
spirit, soul, essence that pilots the ship? That, like, if that part of life begins at conception, where does it come from? And if it is dualistic, then and if we know that only the physical parts are in the uterus and from the man gun, then who's putting the soul in? And if the soul is responsible for sin and it's being given by God, I think that's a worse problem
Yeah.
for a Christian. Like, because now God's putting a broken pilot in a broken machine.
Well, they said they basically
On purpose.
They admit with original sin that we have a sinful nature at the start. So it's a sinful soul?
Exactly. Given to us by who?
Yeah. Why doesn't he
Like that?
get a better model?
That's a huge. Man, I've never even thought about that as an objection to substance dualism, because I would have always had to tie that to the body, that there's some metaphysical connection between the entities that can't be separated that makes them sinful. Because I would never concede that God purposely puts a sinful soul into you.
Yeah, but these guys claim that the teleology comes from the soul, not the body. That it can't come from the body. So,
Well, then they fucked up.
yeah, I bet there's a lot of Christians that argue with these guys or really hate them because they realize that they fucked up. I don't know.
Or there's Christians who read this book, they're like, J.P. Moreland, I love you, and they read it, and then they are fucking glazed-eyed,
Yep.
and they're not perceptive enough to compare that with what their Bible says, with what their pastor says, or what they might intuit from their own book, the Holy One,
Yeah.
not this one.
Well, we all know that they basically, when they run into things like that, cognitive dissonance, they just resort to faith. Have faith.
Right. Well, I can't explain how the soul is broken. Even though God gave us one and imbued us with it, as soon as it touched the okay, here we go. As soon as it touched the broken machine, then the soul got sinful.
Yeah.
Which is like, then if God knows that's going to happen, then why implant the soul at all? Especially if he wants it with him.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yep.
Oh.
Well, me and Scott were going to tackle a few things. I don't know. This is
You're good.
This is a very interesting book for one reason. It has allowed me to buy and obtain about 50 other books on metaphysics and philosophy, which I always appreciate. So I've got a whole fucking list. I got a directory with 245 entries so far of
Nice.
books and papers, and because they unlike some Christians, they do manage to do this. They have a big, section down here where they tell you where they're getting all this shit. Pretty interesting. Anyway, we are going.
Yeah, you can kick me off.
We're gonna do more. Well, I'm gonna kick myself off. Actually, I was hoping you'd stay and run the stream for me. Is that okay?
Oh.
I just want
to. No.
Do whatever you want.
Oh God. What are you gonna go take a piss? Or are you gonna come back?
No, I'm just gonna leave. It's time for me to go. I got a Thanksgiving dinner to cook here for Saturday, and I got shit to do, man.
Well, I got a Prophet Azad video to watch, so I'm getting out of here too.
Which Prophet Azad video?
He says he watched God's Not Dead for a week.
Oh, what? For a week? What the fuck is wrong with him?
Well, let's find out.
Okay.
On our own.
Yeah, I'll go.
Chat, you go over there and watch that instead of us.
Let me see. Is it one of his latest ones?
Yeah, he's premiering it right now.
Every day for a week. Right. Oh, shit. You mentioned it. I've got to put it in my description. So, anyway.
Oh. Yeah, I hope that was entertaining for everyone to hear my former Christian self get mad at this book.
Oh, there's going to be more of this over the coming days. I think me and Scott are going to keep digging into this thing. So maybe we'll have you back.
Yeah, sure. Here, I'll put my email in again in case you need it.
I think I got you. I got you.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Regardless.
Okay, got it. Okay.
All right, I'm going to go watch this so I can finish... go back to my family by 5 o'clock.
And I'm sorry, chat. I have been involved in a discussion, and I have a fucking one-track mind. And I will save the chat, so take a look at them. So thanks, Nettie. We're gonna end it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Laters.
Goodbye.